Hello everyone, welcome to Kids Auto and Truck Repair. Behind me I have a 2011 Nissan Xterra. In this video I'm going to share with you how to remove and replace rear wheel bearings and hub seals. The hub seals on this vehicle are leaking. I'm going to replace the bearings and the seals on both sides. I'm going to show you how to do that on the passenger side. I will replace the bearing and the seal on the driver's side off camera. I already got the wheel removed. I'm working outside, so I hope this is going to turn out okay. Let me show you why we're replacing the seal and then we'll get it replaced. I got the vehicle up in the air. Check out what we got. First of all, this vehicle needs rear rotors and pads. I hope you can see how wet this is. Look. So this is differential fluid leaking on the disc and the pads. So we're gonna have to remove the rotor, the brake caliper, and the caliper bracket so we can remove the rotor, and then we're gonna remove the axle. So now let's get the brake caliper removed. So now we're gonna undo the caliper bolts. Actually, I already cracked these bolts off camera. So here comes our caliper bolt. I'm gonna put them down here. I'm gonna pry the caliper piston back. Here comes our caliper. We're gonna get it out of the way, and then the next thing is gonna be removing the caliper bracket. Look at these pads. The pads are actually soaked in differential fluid. Yeah, so this is bad news. So we're gonna have to replace the pads, the rotor, and the parking brake shoes. So the caliper bracket bolts are 19 millimeter bolt right there. So I'm gonna undo these two bolts, and after that the caliper bracket is gonna come out. So here comes the first caliper bolt. So I'm gonna remove the caliper bracket. Now I have to make sure that these caliper pins are not stuck. So as you can see, the caliper pins are sliding in and out easily, so that's good. So now our brake rotor can come out. So we're just gonna slide our brake disc. Look, I don't know if you guys can see, it's really dark. Okay, let me bring you guys here. We're gonna remove the rotor. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. Look at that. Look at the rotor. Look how much oil we have on the brake rotor. And then look at the brake shoes. Completely soaked. Look, this finger here is dry, watch. I'm not trying to give you guys the finger, but watch. I would not do that to you guys, never. Look. Okay, so differential fluid leaking all over the place. All right, so we're gonna have to remove this axle. These shoes have to be changed. Now, on the back of the backing plate, we have bolt. Let me show you this bolt. So we have bolt back here. We have one over here. There's another one over here, and then we have two more down here. And then we also have to undo the bolt over here for the parking brake cable. Okay, so the ones down here are right here. I hope you can see them. So I'm gonna undo this one and then this one over here. Okay, so now let's undo all these bolts. Now I'm gonna remove the brake shoes. So we're gonna remove this spring here first. And then there's another one here. So we got all the springs undone. So now I'm gonna twist this. There. So now our parking brake shoes can come out. So here comes our parking brake shoes. We're gonna put it over here in the rotor. Now all of this is going to be changed. Okay. So the side with the rod was facing up. Same thing down here. We're gonna remove the bottom shoe. So here it comes. Nice. So now we can remove this mechanism here. Now I can't do this with one hand. Let me see if I can put the camera down here. Now we're gonna disconnect this mechanism from the park brake cable. So we're just gonna lift this up like this. And then there's a pin over here. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. There's a pin over here that I have to push down. Just like that, and then this whole mechanism is gonna come out. Okay, so now there is a 14mm bolt back here that holds the park brake cable on the knuckle. So I'm gonna undo that. Okay, so here it comes. So now I'm gonna slide the park brake cable out of the way, just like that. I hope you can see it here. We can just push this out of the way. So now the next thing is gonna be removing the sensor. I'm gonna remove the wheel speed sensor bolt. There is a 12mm bolt that I'm gonna undo back here. You guys won't be able to see it. So I'm gonna undo the bolt for the sensor. So now I'm moving the sensor back and forth. I'm gonna pull it out. So here comes our wheel speed sensor. We're gonna push it out of the way, just like that. So now I'm gonna remove the 4 nuts that hold the bearing plate on the axle. So these bolts are 14mm. Actually, they are nuts, not bolts. Okay. These nuts. So we're gonna undo this guy. Actually, the nuts back here are 15mm nuts. So here comes the second one, and then we're gonna undo the third one back here. Here's the third nut, and then fourth one over here. Now this thing over here is turning. The frick. So I'm gonna use a torch to heat up the bolt. So we're gonna heat up the nut. Back here. You guys won't be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm getting this nut as hot as I can. Come on. All right, so the last nut is coming out. We had to use the torchy to get this guy out. Okay, very nice. So now we got all these bolts, all these nuts undone. So now the whole axle should be able to come out. I'm gonna get a puller so we can pull this out. So now we're going to install this adapter here so we can pull the axle out. So just like that, easy peasy. So now we're going to screw this. So this sliding hammer, we're going to screw this in. All right, so I got a drain container under the hub here in case there will be fluid that will come out. So now we're gonna tap this out. There we go. Nice. So here comes the axle and the bearing and the seal. The whole thing came out. I'm gonna remove my, actually, let me remove my sliding hammer first. Okay, so here comes the axle. So here is the bearing. We're gonna change the bearing. This is the seal right here. Seal is bad. There's a sleeve over here. We're gonna have to cut the sleeve to remove it. There is a snap ring over here. I hope you can see it. There's a snap ring over here we have to undo. Okay, so now let's take this to the press so we can remove the snap ring, and then we're gonna cut off this sleeve. And after that, the bearing is gonna slide out, and then the seal also is gonna slide out. And then we're gonna install the new seal, the new bearing, and the new sleeve. So now let's take this to the press. I got the axle on the press. So now we're gonna remove the snap ring. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a snap ring here. I'm gonna have to remove just like that. So here's the snap ring. We're gonna push it back all the way. Okay. So now we're gonna cut this off. Nice. All right, so I made a cut here. So now I should be able to push this back, just like that. I hope you can see the sleeve over here move. Perfect. All right, so now the next step is gonna be pushing the bearing. We need to push the bearing out of here. I'm gonna have to destroy it actually. Now when you do this, you have to make sure you wear ear protection. I mean eye protection and ear protection too, because this is loud. So I'm destroying the bearing right now. I don't care how it comes out. We're gonna change it anyways. I was checking to see if you have your glasses.
Yes. Before I come.
Good. Because these rollers can fly out.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Robin behind the camera there, so I'm making sure he's got his eye protection. Oh, yeah. There are your parts. Perfect. So we got the bearing destroyed. We can push that back. So now I'm gonna cut the inner race of the bearing. I hope you guys can see it. So I'm gonna cut this off, and then we're gonna push it out. After that, we should be able to slide our seal out. Okay, so I made a cut over here on the bearing race. So now I'm gonna use a slide, a hammer, to move this, okay. There we go. Now it's moving, perfect. So now here is the seal, and then this is the bearing and the plate, so we're good. So now I'm gonna release this. We can slide our axle out so we can remove all these components right there. Okay, so we got that out, and then the sleeve. So I'll snap ring first, oops, and then sleeve, and then the cage of the bearing, which is broken, or I destroyed it. Bearing inner race, and here is the culprit. This is what was causing the problem. The hub seal is bad. All right, so we are good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this axle. We're gonna clean it very well. I'm gonna clean this plate too, and then I will bring you guys back up so we can install our new bearing and our new axle seal. I've cleaned the axle as much as I could. You guys won't be able to see the top of the axle. So now I'm gonna install this plate first. This is gonna come down this way. I'm gonna apply a little bit of grease over here on the bearing journal and the seal seat. We got Ian behind the camera.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Ian, you ready to put this back on?
Yes, sir.
The weather has been crappy. It's probably gonna rain, so I want to get this done before it starts raining. I mean, we can use the canopy, but so we got all the parts from Nissan. Here is the part number for the seal, so I hope you guys can see that. So I'm gonna slide the seal here all the way, just like that. And then the next thing is we're gonna install the bearing. Here's the part number for the bearing. Okay, so now the bearing goes in one way. Actually, there's a bevel here, so it's gonna go in this way. Okay. So we got this sealed, so I'm gonna slide the bearing in like that. Okay, and then we're gonna install the sleeve. So here's the part number for the sleeve. I mean, Nissan calls it axle spacer. Okay, so I guess it's a spacer, not a sleeve. Now it doesn't really matter what direction this one goes. We're gonna slide this in like that. Nice. So we have to take this to the press. We're gonna press this down all the way in, and then we're gonna put the snap ring back on, and after that we should be good to go. So let's take this to the press. Okay, so okay, so we're gonna install this. What's that? So it can go all the way. Yeah, you're right. Watch out. Actually, let me lower this a little bit. Hold this. Let's lower this. Let's lower the base. And then, how are we doing it? This way?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, put that on. Ready? Nice. All right, let me see. Let's, yeah. So we are adjusting the adapter here, and then we're gonna press the axle. We're gonna press the bearing into the axle, and then we should be good to go. All right, Ian?
Yes, sir.
And then I'm gonna put this, let me see. What? Okay. Let me get a shorter socket. So we're gonna use this socket here as an adapter. We're gonna make sure it's centered. And then we're gonna start pressing this down. Okay, so here's our bearing and our spacer. We're gonna start pressing this down. I can see it going. Go ahead. Hold on. Let me zoom in a little. Hold on, Ian. Go ahead. Keep going. Nice. As you can see, we're pressing the bearing, the axle into the bearing and the spacer. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That's good. Let me check. Oh yeah, that's good. Perfect. Now we're gonna release. Nice. Okay, so go ahead, take it out. Okay. So bring it here. Nice. There you go. Well done. Let's put it over here. Nice. Very good. Now let me bring the camera here. So the new bearing is installed. Look at it. Nice. New seal and new spacer. So now I'm gonna install the snap ring. So we're gonna slide the snap ring down. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. So we're gonna spread the snap ring just like that. Can I see a flat screwdriver, Ian? So the snap ring is in place. I'm gonna have to move it to see if it's sitting in the groove. So right here. The snap ring is sitting in the groove. Thank you. Right there. Great. All right, so here's our axle, new seal, new bearing, new spacer, snap ring is back on, so we're good to go. So now let's take this to the vehicle so we can install it. Good.